And we are streaming. And I think we're golden. So let's, oh, I got my speakers on. Get rid of that. Cool. Let me start this over here. Got that recording going, spotlight's going, and I think we are golden. Oh, let me turn off my speakers here. Sorry, guys. All right. Took a minute to set up everything, get everything going. So thank you for everyone that is joining both on our Zoom, or I should say all three of our Restream platforms. We have our Zoom, which we hold live. We restream over to YouTube, and we also restream over to Facebook. So thank you, everyone, for joining in, whether you are over here on Zoom or out in social media land. So we hold these coherence meditations every week on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. So we do invite you over here to join us, of course, on the Zoom. It doesn't mean you have to show your video or anything. It's just that it's a live feed, and rather than being out on YouTube, it's probably about like 15, 20-second delay. You are more than welcome to join us over here. So over here at this QR code, you can actually find all the links that are pertinent, including our email newsletter, which we're ramping up some things. And we do invite you to subscribe over on the email newsletter ASAP, as we have several things coming out in the following months. So over here is our main YouTube channel. We have our primary platform there, I guess you could say, or Cosmic Gaia community channel. Do click on those links right there. We, as I said, we do hold these every Tuesday, and we invite you out here. So, let's see, I'm going through my notes here. I usually have like an intro note here. Okay. So a format of our coherence meditations, the first 10 to 15 minutes, we have a brief intro and brief discussion. And then we sometimes end it prematurely in case you want to just keep in that deep state and just go off on your own. You're more welcome to just drop off at that time. And after that, we'll just kind of close things off. Anyways, so we do encourage this coherence meditation, these to do as a daily practice. Take a little time out each day. And speaking of which, in case you do miss any of our live sessions, feel free to grab our recordings, like I said, over there at the Cosmic Gaia Community channel on YouTube. We have some very exciting news that Seth will be bringing out, and you can go on his website and also check out the recordings there, as well as a lot more things that he's got planned. So last week's title, we had a title of Remembering Who We Are, and this week's title, also in alignment for the solar eclipse that just happened yesterday, I think it's a perfect title, called Eclipsing the Past. Okay, so if you do have a particular topic in mind, do comment on the video, either YouTube, Facebook. Unfortunately, we don't have that. I didn't start that Q&A over here on Zoom, but please let us know, and we'll try to roll that topic in mind for future sessions. So, Seth, off to you, buddy, and we have an awesome title. I mean, I know that Efren, we've done this for Efren many months ago, and that's awesome to hear his recovery. And it would be actually cool to have him online here sometime, and maybe get him involved a little here. So, anyways, off to you, and I'll let you take it off.
All right. Thank you, as always. And thank you, everybody, for being here. And even if you're not here live, you can do this anytime. They are timeless, like we all are, like everything is. And so tonight is really special, and it means a lot to me because through some of my darkest years of my life that would happen, just so much that I wasn't really able to make sense of and to work through. And I had this man, Leo Tallarico, who lived a few towns away, and I got introduced to him, and he just immediately would soothe me. And for me, I was facing things that were really serious, like long, long sentences in prison for weed, just a lot, that and so much more. And so I would go see him once a week. And for every time that I was done, I'd walk out of there like feeling reinvigorated and feeling strength and trusting the process of life that is happening to all of us and happening through all of us, but that maybe we aren't focusing on it to the degree that we're capable of. But we're changing that now. And by realizing we have the ability to do this type of internal work on our own and together as a group, we're creating habits in our own state of being, in our bodies, and we're also creating a habit collectively for our species. And Leo always brought the best out in me. And it's actually kind of funny because he's an astrologer and I love astrology. I'm fascinated by it, but I never really understood it. And on my birth certificate, because you put the time of, your birthday, whatever it says on the birth certificate, and I didn't have mine. And so I had the wrong time. And it was always like, well, he would share stuff that it was like, it feels so accurate, but not quite. And then I figured out I got my real birth record. I was only off by an hour. And so most of everything made sense, but some of it didn't. But after that, it made sense. And that's no fault of his at all. That was totally me. So with the help that he would provide and just the honesty and just his wisdom and knowledge of being somebody that has been into knowing ourselves as this energy that we are and integrating it into a world and a civilization that is quite focused in other ways. And so he was like a role model to me. Him and his wife, Deb, they're more than just mentors. They cared. They truly, truly cared, not just for me, for everybody. And this made a big impact. And when I heard that he had cancer, because we haven't been in touch for a while, when I heard that he was dealing with bladder cancer, it just was like, it's like a heavy blow to the heart because when you care about people and they have these really intense situations come up, for me, I always referred to these moments of my life as initiations. And initiation because no matter what, if no matter how sick you are, you could be suffering with extreme health issues. I had something for almost 15 years. I could hardly eat anything at all, only green alkaline vegetables. It was really, really hard for me to get through that. And any of these initiations, I mean, pick one, right? Anything that we as individuals go through and even collectively as a species, it's not easy for anybody. But when we realize that we can spend so much time deflecting these brutal life lessons that we all share and go through, and when we stop resisting it, because when we're resisting it, it's like it's getting stronger and stronger, and we're getting more and more out balance, and then eventually something snaps. But when we stop resisting it, when we begin to trust in the process of life, trust in the imbalance, the feeling, the difficulties that these situations can invoke within us and in the hearts of those who we love and that love us. And when you trust it and you keep being made to just trust, to relax, to really just let life do whatever it's going to do. And when you make peace with that, the issues can clear up instantly. It might take a while of trusting and appreciating and loving the unlovable. But when you keep doing that and you make a habit of it and you break through and it becomes your default state of being because you've made a conscious habit, when that happens, you come to appreciate. And no matter how, like when people we love die, all kinds of different things come up that can affect us for such a long time. But when you have those breakthroughs, you stop blaming anybody or anything in this world for your station in life, because it is life. It is God. It is the life force of whatever you want to name it, whatever that means to you. This greater hand that is in our bodies, creating all of this energy in our body that is miraculous. So when you get to a place, when you break through and you start to be in awe of the mystery of life, and you're so humble that you're just ready to let go and you trust it. And the more that happens, the more aware you become, the more you know. And I was thinking recently, I'm going to write up more stuff about this soon because voting comes up, right? Everybody's getting ready to vote. And of course, we all see it. We have family and friends on all these different opposing sides of all the fences. And that is what it is. But when we look deeper of like, well, what are we voting for? When we're not voting for local, national, or international officials, we're using our money to vote, right? Apparently, half of the world's population lives on less than $2 a day. So the ones that have any money, every day we are voting with our dollars, subscriptions and all these different things. But even more than our money, we are voting with our attention. Anything that we focus on every day or multiple times every day, we amplify how we perceive that. And by eyesight is a gentle form of touch. When you take your awareness and you reach out and you touch something over and over every day, all the time, you are voting with your attention to something that is actually feeding off it. It's literally like you're giving your beautiful life force energy away to something that isn't really helpful, or it is for a little while and then it's not. But when you take that attention and you refocus it, you turn it around and you begin to witness, to feel, to hear, to know this life force that without that life force, we wouldn't be focusing on anything. We would not be in this forum, and life as we know it would not be happening. That's a whole other conversation. The reason I bring all of this up is because when we make a habit of placing our attention on what really matters, right? Our health, our well-being, rather than all the fears and all the things around the world, when we take our attention away from all of that and we focus on this miracle that is every single one of us, and that is running all these complex systems of our body, whether we're awake or asleep, when we create a habit of knowing that and being more and more in harmony with it, life pays attention back to you. You pay your attention, pay attention to life, life pays attention back to you. And again, you get to a point where all the trials and tribulations and struggles and suffering, it's almost like they were perfectly placed for you to get right at a moment in time when you break free of all of it. And through that amplification of paying attention, we increase this life force energy in our bodies. And when we increase it and we get good at it, because it's simply a habit, it's our choice to consciously plant our attention on this life force in us rather than allowing all the things in the world to compete for our attention. When we take it around, we face it back to us, to this life force, we come to appreciate everything because it was all in alignment to get you to a place that with that breakthrough, hallelujah, all of it. It's that incredible. So in light of that, let's totally relax wherever you are, whether you're sitting down or laying down. Just allow yourself to be totally relaxed. And through being totally relaxed, we are going to amplify what is already happening to us, through us. We are going to take the most precious thing that isn't at all a thing, but the precious elements of it are more important than anything. It is the true form of wealth. It is our ability to choose where we place our attention. And when we begin to pay attention, we get good. We build a habit of what we're focusing on. Then we amplify whatever it is that we're focusing on. So by being aware of how big we have the ability to be is one of my favorite ways to amplify this frequency of life, of truth, of becoming so aware of what you really are, that the person you thought you were throughout the whole course of your life, that person can disappear. Anything that holds you back or annoys you or bothers you, when you become aware of what is allowing you to be aware, your values change. You begin to start valuing life, your life force, your relationship to your life force, because it is not separate. The person that you are comes directly out of this emanation of life force energy. That is the true fabric of the universe, of the divine realms where everything is created. When we begin to really open up to our source life force energy, then we amplify that creative energy, that creative frequency. And when we do that, we get upgraded. Just like the eclipse yesterday. a lot of people felt like their awareness got an upgrade. And it's so beautiful because we don't have to wait for rare celestial events. They're great. They help tremendously, but we don't have to wait for them to happen because we can activate those kind of changes in us by choice alone. And so when we value our relationship to this life force, when in reverence and honor we give praise to this source of life force energy that is animating everything, when you begin to make a habit of paying attention to the place where attention is coming out of, meaning you, your senses, the way that energy in your body is allowing infinitude of reactions and complexities, when you trust that you don't really even have to think about that. You just know you can let it be there and you honor it. And you have reverence for that. All the things you've resisted throughout the course of your life can be diminished immediately. And that version of yourself in tune with all the different frequencies that are yourself. When you begin to pay attention to that, life and death disappear. Life becomes something that is cycles upon cycles, endings and new beginnings. When you realize that you are going through all of that anyway, and that you become conscious of that in this form, you break the wheel of life and death that holds us in density, that can try to compete for our attention so that we believe all the things that everybody around us accepts as self-evident, all the belief systems, all the different civilized, ideal ways of perceiving this world that was all seeded a long time ago by very small men who are weak in their own connection to this life force. And we break the spell of all the spelling of words that we are taught to compartmentalize, to literally create a prison of mental and emotional agony. Every time we reconnect to what we are always connected to, that is one more bar out of the prison that we didn't even realize we were building. Everything about who we are up to this point can be dismantled. All the belief systems, all the ideas, everything that formed our entire sense of self up to this moment, most of it was done without us being conscious of what we were building. But now that we are choosing to be conscious of where we place our attention, of knowing what our boundaries are, of us being able to move through our resistance and begin to trust that the life force animating our body that is beyond genius, that is miraculous. When we begin to trust it with consciousness, meaning we are aware of what we are focusing on. And when we build habits, beliefs, behaviors, actions through being conscious of it, all of the unconscious habits that brought us to where we are now begin to dissipate. They begin to break down. And like water through mountains, we overcome and we smooth out whatever it is that we resist. And in the process of allowing ourselves to do that, we begin to remember. We begin to become aware of how important this current life mission is. And that every moment that we take our sacred perception and we focus on and amplify what is allowing us to have this attention. Not only does our own personal, mental, and emotional prisons that we were unconscious when we built, even as they begin to further deteriorate and break down, at the same time, we are becoming aware of why all of this is happening, of our almost laser-like strategic placement of our energy. When we really begin to know how powerful we have always had the potential to be, and when we own that, and we become so in love with this life force that it amplifies everything in our entire body, affecting everybody in our hearts, even those we don't know. When you exercise your ability to be harmonized with this infinitely powerful creative force, it helps you to get through anything. And that is reality. That is more real than the person who we all were and still are. The person that wakes up every morning, does the same behaviors or rituals or habits. We just do it without even thinking about it. Throughout the course of all the years of our lives, we have created habits that define us. But then all of a sudden, when the electricity goes out of your house, all those habits begin to surface. And you start to realize how much every bit of who you think you are is tied in to all these different artificial forms of electricity, of frequency. And it can be very sobering. And at the same time, that is when you have great potential to change the routine, to intentionally create a way of being with this life force so that we literally change the collective frequency of mental, emotional, and spiritual containment. We break out of all of those cells of our unknown, consciously created habits, then something else begins to empower us. And where we vote with our attention, that energy pays attention, that you are paying attention to it. And it empowers you. And just like electricity is wired through all the homes or buildings that we're in, so too are we wired with electricity, but it's not artificial. It is infinite in its potential. It is the force that gives birth to universes, to planets. It is so far outside the reach of artificial incorporation. It is so far beyond all of the small-minded, fear-based tactics that we have temporarily accepted as who we are or who we were. So with all of that, just rest even more. We're going to get big. And when we get big together, we anchor that into our lives. And it assists and helps with anything or anyone that we are paying attention to. So you're relaxed. And even though your body is relaxed, you're kind of excited. Your mind is aware. Your whole being is aware. And from total relaxation in your body with vivid, bright awareness, the marriage of that relationship opens up and we become conscious of these bodies and how they are wired and just what type of organic electricity is flowing through us. And the more we listen to it, the more we feel it, the greater we have to up our perception of it with amplitudes that are unfathomable. Out of nowhere, you can become so conscious of what this force is that there isn't a scientific instrument created anywhere recently or here that can measure what is happening. So you're totally relaxed. Your mind is bright and awake. Your breathing is deep but gentle at the same time. You put a smile on your face, and that smile, whether it signifies you as a child being happy or feeling love for something in your life or someone in it, whatever that feeling is for you and what it signifies, that is your plateau to begin rebuilding who you have the potential to be. And no artificial anything can contain that. So you're relaxed, you're breathing rhythmically, gently. You have that smile on your face and you are feeling it reverberate throughout your body with every beat of your heart. And from that place of calm awareness, of bright awareness, let this energy that you feel from the smile in your face that is being sent out with pulse signals through every beat of your heart, through every breath that you inhale and exhale, any thought you have about anything great or small, it all becomes amplified beyond the confines of what we temporarily think of as normal. So we're in this space, this place of awareness. And when we allow this energy field to open up, feeling that smile on our face, being empowered in this physical and energy-based body. You let your awareness expand. And whether you believe if the earth is round or flat, let your awareness exceed all of that. Just like when we look up in the stars on a clear night and we see a small sampling of how big it is, even if there's ground beneath our feet, that depth, that infinite, expansive nature of nature itself is all around us. Even if there is earth or rock or microorganisms or forest, even if we are in that world, what has created that world is also what has created us. And we have inalienable rights to conduct how we perceive ourselves and this world. And from that plateau of awareness that you have created by determining the conditions that you are allowing yourself to be aware of here and now with us, with you, and all that makes you be who you are. Let your awareness expand in all directions. Just forget about buildings or EMFs or all the things that compete for our attention. Underneath all of that is space in all directions. It is space. And just like feeling the heat from the sun on your face, a star that is almost 100 million miles away, so too do all of the celestial bodies in our solar system, in our galaxy. All of that is affecting every bit of it, whether it's star systems or if it's us being in these bodies that are actually attuned to all of this cosmic creation, because we are being aware of what is creating awareness. And these inalienable rights don't have permission or even the ability to contain us. Through birthright, we have the ability to be aware of everything, to feel our connection to everything, great or small. And there isn't anybody or anything that can take that away from you. That is who you are. It is what you are. And it is way greater than any system of control or stress that we have temporarily called normal. That version of normal is actually very, very weak compared to all of these forces of these cosmic celestial beings around us. When we are aware of what creates all of it through that point in how we perceive all of it, we can expand as far out as we want. And it's like a fractal in the sense that the more you open up to be as big as you want, at the same time, you can go within into what is so small, like bacteria. Does it care what anybody thinks or does if it is left alone by us? It knows exactly what it is doing, and it is in full connection to what allows all of that to happen. And so are we. So let your awareness be as big as the galaxy, or whatever that means to you. Allow your feet to be planted deeply into this ground beneath us, this celestial body that is allowing us to be here on it, with it. And with your feet planted deep into this great celestial mother and father, and you let your awareness expand as far as you want and simultaneously as deep as you want within. And from you creating the conditions for all of this to happen, your feet are planted like great roots into the ground. Your mind, your awareness is as far out as you want it to be. And in the middle of it is your heart in awe, totally alive. And when you focus on that spark of life that is within, then all that you are connected to beneath you and all that you are connected to everywhere around you, it supports you feeling your connection to all of it, because it always has been. It always will be. And again, like the sun on your face, a star from hundreds of millions of miles away, of other celestial bodies that are so far away that there aren't even numbers that anybody knows. Yet it is all in relationship to itself. And you are in awe. You are in love with your life force, so that all parts of your physical body are reverberating with what was always there to support it. And the less you resist, the less it persists, and the more you embrace all that you fear, the more you're able to love rather than struggle, the more your physical being has the ability to be amped up, to increase the amplitude of all of these energies that are causing everything in all of our bodies to happen. It's just that now we are paying a lot more attention to it. And life begets life. When we love life, life loves us back. And this energy, this miraculous force that we already are, loves us back. And all our fears begin to disappear. All of our thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, actions, habits that have brought us to where we are now, suddenly they don't matter so much anymore. And by our ability to accept how connected we are, no matter what, is to the degree that, like a magnet that is emitting frequency, so too is our bodies. So too is the celestial bodies. So let your body be in coherence with what you choose to focus on the most. And if you forget, all that is a perfect opportunity to choose to remember. You feel connected, you're in awe, and you're in love with your life. But then you lose attention to that because something around is calling out for it or competing for your attention. And so you give your attention to that. But then you remember that you made a pact with you, with your life force, that if you go unconscious, or if you're just not attuned to reality, that is the perfect reminder to continue feeling that energy that the smile creates, and how all of that energy is interconnected with this infinite possibility. And so then you remember. And so through the cycle of remembering and forgetting, and then remembering again, at some point, you get so good at doing that, that your ability to love life overcomes the struggling, the suffering of temporarily forgetting and unconsciously not reattuning your awareness. So in these bodies, when your heart and mind are in coherence, when all the systems, organs, fluids, when you are in heart brain coherence and you sustain it by a mixture of everything we've shared tonight, smiling and feeling that smile, breathing gentle and yet deep. The more we do that, the more we find that the pathways that we were born into these bodies with actually were already attuned to this. And so when we have that feeling of remembrance and we bring our attention back to it, every time we do that, we amplify this miracle that is already happening to us, through us, through everything, everyone, everywhere. So let yourself be as big as you are ready for. And you don't have to beat yourself up ever again. You get to choose the pace you want to reclaim the connection to infinity that was already there. And the more you do this, the more you are supported to do this more, because life wants to evolve. It wants to connect, and it is as ready as we are to go at whatever capacity we are ready. So with all of what we focused on, bring that energy that you focused on that is out there, bring it back in here into every part of your body simultaneously. Be the energy field that you are, that with every beat of your heart expands and contracts. Be the energy being that you are, that when you choose to smile, you are amplifying your state of being with your own feeling of reverence, awe, respect, gratitude. And when all the old values of believing that the material world is all we have, and the only way we can survive is to limit our awareness so that we can fit into something that is so small, so temporary. that we eventually laugh. And in those moments of laughter, you remember, how could you ever forget? Because this is what is really happening. And you're setting your standards. You are setting up for yourself the potential for you to be embodied as this great, infinitely creative force, life source that you are. And as creative and alive as it is, so too can you be at peace with it and rest just as it does. And through your heart and brain, in coherence, through your breathing and feeling the smile, just as all of that happens by you choosing to create the conditions for it. Bit by bit, every part of your body starts to syncopate with the conditions that you are setting for yourself. And the more you practice, the better at it you get. And this innate intelligence that you already are continues to clean house, to detoxify not only the beliefs, behaviors, and actions of a limited world that struggles more than it loves. When you get into coherence like that, you reverse your world. And at some point, you seek challenge because you love life. You love that you are here to create deeper connection, to embody values that truly lasts forever. So you called all of that energy back into your being. Everybody who wants to stay doing that, just hang up from the call. And everybody that wants to come into a more waking state, just let all that energy that you called back to you, that you magnified within you, and let that amplification of energy that you cultivated, let it be your standard default mode of being. Send love to Leo and his wife, Deb. Feel all that you feel within you and know that they too, and everybody, can create states of being that sustain like we have done now. And so as you begin to become more aware of the world and its appearance around you, remember that feeling. Program yourself so that every time you smile, that's your cue to remember to up the amplitude of energy that you are and that everything is. No matter what gets in your way, no matter how scary or painful it can be, you have chosen to love more than you suffer. And now you're just refining your ability to do that. So sit up with your posture as straight as you can get it. Like there's a little wire at the top of your head, a silver thread that is pulling you up so that your body can create greater alignment and space through your choice to do this. And feel that playful, loving energy that we had with kids that never left us. That's there. And it's ready to play. And if it gets hurt, it gets up, wipes off its knees, and continues to move forward. And so rub your hands together and create friction and warmth. Put the palms of your hands over your eyes. And from the top of your forehead with your fingers, just start to tap gently down through your forehead, through your eyebrows, through your eye sockets and temple, through your cheeks, your jaw, your mouth, your chin, and into your voice box, and your ability to create sound. And the more you harmonize yourself just with your own voice through tone, that's one of the greatest allies that we all have. So please like, love, share, tag, comment. Let's make this into a movement that changes the world infinitely. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Leo. And thank you, everybody, for helping him.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. We will see you again next week. Much like I did last week, I had a little quote at the end. So it kind of goes in alignment with what you talking about this session. But I'll leave it at this. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Napoleon Hill. And I remember that quote from about 30 to 35 years ago. That's one of the quotes that my dad um, told me a long time ago, and I still remember it. So, wow, what a powerful meditation. Thank you so much. Nancy, I see your hand up. Would you like to chime in? Please just go ahead and unmute.
No,
No?
I meant to just put a thumb. I meant to just do a thumbs up for a heart emoji, but somehow the hand got raised and I don't know how to, it won't lower it.
Oh, okay, no problem. Well, glad
No,
to
I just
have
wanted to say
everyone
that
here.
it was awesome meditation.
Yes, I think it was very powerful. Let me actually put another spin or another flavor actually on one of the words that you had in there, Seth. Unalienable. I think a lot of people think like, ooh, ET this, ET that, right? Unalienable. let's say unalienable in my opinion, in my world, but unalienable, which means obviously nobody can put a lien on your own free will. So we all have this energy. We all have this innate ability. I mean, we have very powerful minds. I've actually been getting more and more into like again, Dr. Joe Dispenza, but hence the title of this, Eclipsing the Past, I think is a very good phrase, especially after the new, well, the solar eclipse, but also the new moon, so that we eclipse our past and we live in the moment and we harness our energy going forward. So, um, that's my take really quick on that. So, any last words, Seth?
Nope.
All
Just
right.
keep doing it. We already are it. There's no way that that can change unless we don't focus on it. But we still are it. So
All right.
thank you, everybody. Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.